basically, basically, this guy's annoying. So I stopped recording the thing. And then he just starts coming up with just some more gems. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna record and see what happens.
Just hit record and do it after.
Man. I'm not gonna. I doubt I'll probably look at the camera, man, because it's just annoying.
No, so okay, so my thing was this is what I was saying to you just a minute ago.
Right.
Like there were a lot of things that I want to do, but I start and I haven't had the opportunity to run and complete because it wasn't the time to do it.
Right.
So for me, one of the things I've always wanted to do is support new artists and like actively support new artists. So I said to myself, all right, cool. Let's give artist management a try. This is me still making music and thinking, okay, cool, we can do artist management.
Did you even have a clue how it all works? Because I'm sure that even that in itself is a job and a half, bro.
I had no idea because I've never had a manager.
So you manage your own thing, like
Yeah,
everything.
I've been making music for almost 20 years. I've never had management. And then
Listen, there's no excuses.
And then I said to myself, I'm trying to now do something that I have never had myself. But you know, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
And so it started initially back in I think 2015. So I put together a collective called the Earmark Collective, and it was First Lady, a girl called Shakol, and a poet called Owenari Briggs. And we had this kind of like De La Soul kind of like Fugees vibe, and we put out a song on YouTube called Bear the Mark, and it did bits. I remember we had Kel from Keenan and Kel. He heard the song.
I do. Is it?
Yeah, my guy. He heard the song. He said, "Yo, this is incredible. You give me Diggable Planets vibes," and people were absolutely loving it. And we had this collective thing going. This is like by this time, I'm already 10 years into my musical career, and I said to myself, it was one of the ways I wanted to kind of like showcase new artists and whatnot. And then that stage kind of didn't happen. It was like, all right, cool. Everyone's got life, because that's what happens a lot of the time in the UK Christian music industry. Artists are doing their thing and then life hits and they're like, I got to put the music thing down to the side,
right? Which
I respect, and those are still my brothers and sisters. Like I love those guys till today. I said, all right, cool, it is what it is, let that go. And then anytime I would come across a new artist, I would spend time investing in them. And I don't say this not in a sense of like, oh, arrogance, like, oh my gosh, I'm like, it's just because I remember what somebody did for me.
Right.
There was a guy called El Dubsy, and I remember he long story short, I met him randomly. I told him I could spit. He said, all right, come with me. And then he just started helping me get shows and introducing me. I thought I was the first Christian artist. I thought I was the first Christian rapper in the UK, not knowing there was a whole scene. This is
raw.
So he then introduced me to Faith Child, Commission, VOV, all of these, Green J, Hazel, Zion Noise, Dwayne Triumph, all of these. And I'm like, wow.
Bro, sorry, that's who you remind me of, you know.
Who's that?
Bro, for me, growing up, it was Dwayne Triumph.
Yeah, Triumph is that's legendary, man.
Is he still making music?
He's around.
Because when it comes to albums, there was an album
777 Classic.
And the musicality
Classic.
as well, man. Bro.
So when I saw all of those guys, I was like, oh, I'm really not the first Christian rapper in the UK. All right, cool. Let's take that back.
Rude awakening.
But because of what Dubsy did for me,
right,
I always took it upon myself to do the same thing for new artists. And so whether it was
passing it on,
just new, you know, so many. I don't want to, But then to come back to the whole management thing, I thought, all right, cool. So then that's when I met. Later on down the line, I met Asha Elia.
Right.
And then I said, so, you know, I did a gig in Bristol and she was at a church there and I saw her, she was incredible. And then we crossed paths again and then we ended up...
She was performing in Bristol. Mm-hmm. Right.
Because she's from those sides.
Oh,
and then it was off the back of conversations we had. I said, you know, let me support you and then let me just help you and see what you're doing and da-da-da-da-da. And then for about a year and a bit, that's what I was doing. I was working with Asha, managing Asha.
Jeez,
and then when it got to the point, man. I was like...
Never knew that.
For me, I was like, I can't do this, and because there's still so much I want to do as an artist,
right? And
I was trying to do this. In saying that and in knowing this, I'm still like trying to hit up other artists. Dave Creates was another dude. I hit him up and I said, "Yo, look, listen, I love what you're doing. Can I help you? Can I support you? We just kind of built relationship off the back of that. And there's a few other artists as well. And for me, it was a thing of where, all right, cool. Maybe you don't need to manage these guys to support them. And so now...
So what does that look like?
So now it's like having conversations with quite a few guys who are new artists in the scene and just being like investing my time if there's people I can connect them with, I will connect them to. If I can show you my scars, you don't have to make the same mistakes and realize, actually, you know what? I don't need to put my hand in fire to know that fire burns. And let me learn from the mistakes of Triple so I can do what he did in 7 years. I can do it in 3 months.
And bro, as you said, you've been in the game for what, around 20 years. So there's a lot of experiences that you've faced.
I don't want to show my age. But yeah, and again, I don't say all of this to be like I know it, because I genuinely don't know it all, and I'm still learning, and I'm still, I'm looking at some of my favorite artists now. I'm learning from them, 100%. I'm looking at people like a Laura Ehio. I'm a fan of her. Becca Folks. I'm a fan of her. People like 678 Nave. People like Dave Creates. Like, I'm looking at these artists and I'm like, you guys are incredible. And I have conversations with them, and I'm learning from them.
Right.
And that's the reason why I'm able to still make music, because I sit at the feet of some of these brothers and sisters of mine in the faith, and I'm like, yo,
Who's
teach
the
me.
first person that you mentioned?
Laura Ehio.
I don't think I've.
She is
Well, she sings.
she's a vibe.
I'll
That's
check her
my
out.
sis, man.
I'll check her out.
Shireen, that's my sister.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Shireen?
Shout out Shireen, bro.
Shireen,
she was on.
I've seen the episode. I watched the episode. Yeah. I've seen the episode. Shireen sang at my wedding.
Wow.
Yeah. I got married in Portugal, and
Jeez.
Shireen,
Ronaldo,
that's my and Shireen, that's my sister. I said, yo, can you, we've been friends, you're invited, but I would love for you to come sing at my wedding. So
she
Incredible.
has got a ridiculous voice. Her voice is so unique.
Incredible.
I say this all the time.
No, she's genuinely incredible. I say this all the time. That's
you hear any song, it doesn't matter what type of genre it is. So when you just hear her voice, you'll be like, yeah.
And do you know what? That's what true story. So she was working on her debut album, and she was like, Triple, I want you on this particular song. I said, all right, cool. She sent me the song, and I was like, oh, this is a vibe. This is nice.
Wait,
smooth.
how did you guys meet?
How did we meet? That's a very good question. I can't remember.
You're meeting everybody these days. What's going on?
But yeah, so she asked me to feature on the album,
Right.
And so she sent me the song. I was like, all right, cool. I know what I'm gonna do with this. So I just wrote. I was like, in my bag. So I sent her the verse. She was like, yeah, Triple, this is cool, but it's not quite what I wanted. And I
Just
know.
like that.
And the thing is, I respect her for it. Like, I genuinely respect her for it.
Yeah.
She was like, I just need something a little bit more. I need what you do, and I need that on this song. So I went back to the drawing board and then really kind of poured out my heart. And she was like, yes, this is what I wanted. And I genuinely respected her for the fact that she told me to go rewrite my verse. If she told me again,
brave.
I may not have done it, but no, I'm joking. That's family. But yeah, she told me, and the song is actually just.
She's another one.
She's so gifted. She is. She
and
genuinely
knows
is.
what she wants in her music as well.
Mhm.
Because
Very,
you
very
know,
intentional.
bro, I was so shocked when she was telling me her process about even the first album and that. I was like, wow, you know, it's a recent thing, you know.
Yeah.
So
And I remember watching the live stream of her release album party.
right,
And I remember watching it like, I want to do something like this. And for me, when I was making Everything Left Unsaid, there was a particular process that I went through. I wanted to take, because usually when our artists make albums, they're very secretive, or they're very...
is that on purpose or is it just how it
they're
is?
protective over their work, and
Their
I get
baby,
it.
yeah.
Like I'm not. I do the same thing,
Right. Okay.
but I wanted to do things very differently this time. So I started making the album, and then I finished the album in demo form. I had about like 20 songs.
20.
I had about a little bit more, but I think it was about 20. And some of them were ideas, some of them were just verse chorus. We had about 20 demos and whatnot. And then I said, all right, cool, we're gonna have a listening party for this album. Now the album's not nowhere near ready.
Right.
So we had a listening party in a studio in Hackney, Vic Tizzle's studio, and I invited down just producers, engineers, artists. There was like some really cool people in the room, and these are songs that were they're not mixed. These are recorded in my bedroom, just in Pirate Studios, and they're just skeletons. And I sat down. I gave everyone a piece of paper with all the songs and like a scorecard. I said,
Right.
guys, I need you to give me honest feedback on every single one of these songs.
Brutal honesty. Yeah.
Honest feedback. And I recorded the whole thing. We documented the whole thing. And then it was like, this is not good. This is good. Bam, 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 bam. And then I got to. I remember taking all the scorecards away and taking the demos away. And I was like, damn, I need to start this album again. And we redid
You're
some things.
joking.
No, seriously, we redid some things. Some production went back. We had to redo it again. Some songs got rewritten. Some songs got completely taken off. You know, because I had a goal of recording the album in a week. So what I wanted to do was the album, Everything Left. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to record an album in a week. So I hired at a studio in it was in Seven Sisters, Stamford Hill area, somewhere in North London.
Right.
And I hired it out for a week. And I had
A week.
and then we had all the producers and engineers who were on the album. They came down. So that was like Andre Fisher, Mr. Dimension, GP, Divine Music, the producers. And then we had like instrumentalists. Then we had people doing BVs like Shirin, Esther Salomon, my girl Shiv. Just all this, and then all the features on the album was Elikum Kofi. We had Still Shady. Who else was on the album? Gracious K, Shirin. Everyone came down in that week. Just like and other artists who weren't even on the album came to the
Were you
studio
even
session.
sleeping that week? Or?
And so I was like long. We didn't. It wasn't overnight sessions. It was like long days. It was like 14, 15-hour days, and then we would go to the next day, and next day. Recorded the whole album in a week. And then I remember I sat down and I was like,
Jeez.
I'm still not happy with it. And this is in demo form. But the majority, 70% of the album was done in that week. We even wrote new songs after the week had been completed because I was like, okay, this song's not working. We've got to take it out. This, that, da. And then I remember we recorded that so the listening session was in January. We recorded it out. So January 2021. The album came out, January, and then 2022. January listening session. February we recorded the album. Then throughout the whole summer, I was touring, performing songs, and just getting an idea of what people thought of the album.
Right.
And then we ended up releasing it in September. And I remember when it came out, I was like, okay, this is it. Once it's out, it's out. Like once it's at this point, once it's out. It's out.
Jeez.
And then just to kind of see the response that I got and how it resonated with certain people and certain songs. Oh my gosh, I love this song. And certain people, oh my gosh, I love that song. It was a relieving moment. Keeping in mind, remember I said that we arranged the album
Yeah.
in a specific way.
I feel like I've committed a crime not having listened to the whole album, bro.
There we go.
You were
No,
saying-
I love the honesty. And it's fine because when I sat down and then we arranged the album, I was arranging the album. We're gonna do a live show. We're gonna do a live show. Okay, Inheritance. Okay, this is gonna happen. This is how the show's gonna start with this slow kind of piano, bam, 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 bam. Cordon's gonna go into the grime. It's gonna go bam, bam. King James. Like the album was arranged with the live show in mind. 100%.
Just hearing the process does two things to me. First thing, obviously, it's very inspiring. The second thing is just making me not want to ever do that, bro. Because that just sounds like
Oh, it was humbling.
it was a process,
Because I
bro.
had the listening
lie to
session.
you.
It was a process. It was a very, very long process,
Bro.
and it was emotionally draining because you're putting
put everything into it.
Yeah. So when I'm now spending 18 months promoting the album and pushing it, it's because I'm thinking back to that period and I'm like, I can't just promote this album for 2 weeks and be like, okay, cool, on to the next thing.
Right. And you're saying that you haven't really had a manager, so you're having to even push that stuff out.
We've got people
that can help.
We've
and
got
assist.
people who have been amazing, and this is why I started off the conversation by saying we. There are people around, like my wife. She's absolutely incredible. That's my backbone. That's my ride or die, and she's there by my side helping me do stuff. And
Shout out
shout out wifey. And then there are people who are instrumental in pulling certain strings and okay, well, I'll help you here and I'll help you there. So I never want to come on here and say, oh my gosh, I did it all by myself. Man, did it. Not at all.
Not at all. Right.
Not at all. But in the conventional sense of management, yeah, that doesn't exist.
Bro, how does it work? So, of course, you're talking through the process of like, you know, the 1 week recording and, you know, getting people to listen to demos and stuff. Does it just come naturally in terms of like network? How do you know all these people? Is it a networking thing, or is it just people have listened to your stuff and they've reached out? Like, how does it work? Honestly, I know this is probably a silly question.
No, it's not a silly question. It's a good question.
How does it work?
Relationships.
Because it comes naturally to some.
For some, like,
some not so. Just like common sense.
Okay,
common sense is not so common, bro.
Yeah. You have to be willing to put yourself out there.
How? Sorry, I have to ask.
Right. No, I want to give you. I don't want to just give you kind of like airy. I want to give you practical. Number one, jump in people's DMs. Honestly speaking, jump in. Like, we've got this thing called social media. Utilize it, and it's not necessarily jumping in the DM and say, hey, can I have a favor? Or hey, can you do this for me? Literally, if they are creative, like, take time to listen to their work, appreciate their work.
Right.
And then just have a conversation based on their work, not on your work,
right?
On their work, kind of, and not do it in a way where you're trying to be manipulative, like, oh, let me say sweet things so you can be my friend. But like, engage with people who you actually want to engage with and whose stuff really resonates with you, and you think it would make sense for the two of you to kind of align yourselves.
And that would be the first approach to the message. Like, if you was to send a DM, you would be like, okay, well, how would you do it? So you'd introduce yourself and be like, this is what I do, or talk about them.
It depends, because for me, when I'm working with producers and artists and creatives, I have one rule: I need to be a fan of your stuff.
Right.
That's my golden rule. Like, I need to genuinely, like, when I'm not making music and I'm listening to music while I'm working or while I'm doing or while I'm driving or whatever, if I can put on your project on my own accords,
right,
and it really kind of like does something for me, that will spur something in me to be like, I want to engage with this artist or whatnot. So that, for me, that's like my first step. Sometimes as well, like, when you get into spaces, you meet artists. You know, this is, you know, oh, we're performing together, we're on the same bill, and you're watching this person perform and whatnot. And then off the back of that, you start having conversations, and then before you know it, you're building a relationship with one another. So sometimes it starts in the DM, sometimes it's at events, sometimes it's shows and award shows, sometimes it's just mutual acquaintances. Like, you both know one person, and that mutual person says, oh, I need you to meet this person, and da-da-da. There's no one way of doing it. It depends on your own, how you like to interact with people as a person yourself.
Right, okay.
And then kind of just do what works for you. Because I could say, oh, do this, do that, and then someone watching this might do that and be like, that didn't work. And then they'll jump in my DMs and say, Triple, that didn't work.
That's true. You know what? I wanted to you touched upon your album, right? And I know I'm just jumping topic.
No, go for it. We're
here
now. We are here.
We're here. You said that there is, like, the album starts at the end?
Yeah. So, not to take away the listening experience to anybody, away from those who haven't listened to the album, when you do listen to Everything Left Unsaid, there is a conversation that's happening at the beginning of the album, and it's a conversation between me and my wife. And the reason why I put that there,
right at the beginning,
is because we are reacting to something that happens at the end of the album. Now, that I won't give away. And when that thing happened, and that's not something we did for the album, that's something that happened in real life that I decided to put on the album.
Oh, wow.
So when that happened in real life, I said, you know what? Number one, this has really ministered to me and really got me. So I want to include this on the album. And then I was like, what did that do for me? I said, okay, cool. I called my missus and said, yo, babes, I need to do something for the album. Can we have a genuine conversation about that thing and what that means in the grand scheme of things, especially with the story that I'm trying to tell and the experience of life that we've experienced.
Right. Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Bro, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. There's some things that you're saying. I'm just like, right, I need to figure out what are these things that happen, bro. What are these things that happen? Wait, having said that about the missus, how did you guys meet? And secondly, have you found that since being with her, like, it's just been a natural progression? It has, because you can't just say that, it doesn't just happen, so yeah, it doesn't just happen. So you just found that she has actually been serious, like serious support system. Like
in terms of the first question, how we met, I'll be honest with you, we have different opinions on how we met, and we've come to an agreement and we just run with it. But more importantly, to answer the second question,
right,
Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord.
right.
There is so much truth in that statement and in that scripture. I didn't understand it prior to getting married. I didn't.
Or understand it to the level that you do.
I didn't.
Or at all. She's like, no.
I didn't. I genuinely didn't. Because what I then experienced off of the back of entering that space, it was like God was just putting other things in my life together, and this started working, and this started working, and this started working. And it's because you have someone you're accountable to and someone you're accountable for. And it changes your perspective on life, and then you do things differently, and then before you know it, that then overflows into the other areas in the way you handle other things in your life, and then you've got someone there to support you in those other things, and things just start to fall into place and start to click.
How did you know, like, this was who I was supposed to be? Because why I asked that, the reason why I asked this is because someone that is in the public eye, again, this is just an assumption, but I can assume that there's probably people that want to get closer to you, and there's going to be people that want to support.
You want to have this conversation. Okay. All right. Continue.
I'm sorry.
Let's go.
No, but do you know what I mean? I just feel like I always feel for people that are in the public, especially like Christian musician artists and stuff, because there's a lot of people that probably want to say, oh, I want to support you, I want to do this, I want to do this. How did you know this one is the genuine one?
I don't just say, well, this goes for men and women, but I'll talk to my brothers. Any man that has a platform, be very, very careful you don't abuse the platform.
Thank you.
And I say this from a place, and this is me just being real, saying this from a place of abusing the platform that I had.
Oh, okay.
And then trying to mask holiness and righteousness and whatnot.
Bro, this is deep. What?
Over the abusal of the platform that God had given to me.